did Ms. Wagner consent to be interviewed?
She did.
Okay. And is that consent also captured on the recording?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time I would request to play the recording of Special Agent Comisford's interview with Angela Wagner at the Montana border.
Any objection? Permitted to be played.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before we start playing, Agent Comisford, I'm going to just have the interview played in its entirety.
Okay.
So if you can listen to it, and then at the end of that, I will have some questions for you.
Sure.
Okay? Thank you. We'll be back.
I know. I'll just tell you the same thing in public. I'm not comfortable with leaving them. I've never left them with anybody, so.
I understand.
Angela, this is Jenny Comisford, and I'm Rick Ward, with the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation.
Oh, so BCI, is this why it's expected, like,
Actually, we have no control
Oh, okay.
over the border patrol people, that's federal. But the reason we're here is obviously, okay, dealing with all that noise going down in Pike County, and that's the reason we came up here to get away from all that,
Okay.
okay?
Sure, see the media's all over it, so.
Have you been following any of that?
Of course. Yep.
That crazy?
Am I mad? Absolutely. I am severely mad.
At the media, or
I'm a little bit mad at several
everybody?
people.
Not us, I hope.
Not you two particularly. Although, I've never been at you. You haven't lied to me yet, so.
No, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of it going on down there, because I haven't been involved, you know, like from the get-go, so
Right.
a lot of it, we just don't know. But I do want to talk to you a little bit today,
That's good.
and I appreciate it. And the reason I wanted to tell you the decision was made, you know, we just want to get away from down there and talk to you outside of the state of Ohio and Pike County.
That's fine.
I think it would be best for everybody.
Now, are you a supervisor, or are you just?
No, I'm not a supervisor.
We're just agents.
Just agents, you know, we're asked to do our job, so.
Okay, that's fine.
I have some personal questions for you, though.
Sure.
How was Alaska?
Oh, we love it.
What, the reason I ask is I've always wanted to go, and,
You should.
and I just doesn't, I know it's really rural and country, so I was just curious what the weather was like, how the roads
It is,
were,
but there's some, bigger cities, just like every place.
like Fairbanks and.
Fairbanks, Wasilla, Anchorage.
Like a Columbus, Cincinnati type, all the same garbage there.
Same thing.
The pictures do look pretty in Alaska. I've always
Oh,
thought it
it
was
is nice,
beautiful.
it's nice, there's no humidity, 50.
What was the weather up there?
50-some degrees.
Even during the day, what was it at night though?
It's a little colder. I don't know exactly what it was, but yeah, you gotta have sweatshirts and blankets.
Yeah.
And that type of thing, but.
Where'd you go there? I mean, any place decent, touristy, any place decent?
No, actually, we went, of course, we took the kids, to the Sea Life Center, Wildlife Conservation. all
Oh, yeah,
that.
that's
But,
center, middle of the state.
Seward, well, we go to South Alton. Well, Seward, see, when we was up here in 2007, we went to Seward. Is where we went.
Where that's at?
It's the Kenai Peninsula.
Okay.
It's a little
Yeah,
right. And their
I think I know where that's
weather's,
at.
their weather's not much different than like Ohio. They get a little more snow.
Oh, that's
but
not so bad
They
then.
don't have no humidity. They
Yeah, but see, I was
down
told the
there,
bugs are real bad there.
mosquitoes, but they're not that bad.
Okay, so where is it that it stays dark 6 months out of the year and then light
That's
there is?
Morrow.
That's way up north?
Right.
Okay.
Or Fairbanks, like Fairbanks, when summer starts, I think it's the 18th of May, and you get 122 days, what they call just daylight.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not daylight, it just, like if there was a full moon out at night.
Yeah.
I've never seen it like, probably the sleep only come through, but I've never seen it like that.
You guys drive, how long did you guys drive? I mean, without stopping, what's the longest you drove
Oh, no,
without
just
stopping?
through Canada.
Just through Canada, what was that like? Was that rural, or was it like regular highways?
Nothing for miles.
Just
It's a pretty
flat, Ohio.
3-year-olds, they gotta go to the bathroom every 5 seconds, and there's no bathroom, and you don't
Two
know where.
3-year-olds?
Yeah, they're both 3.
I have a 2-year-old son and he's in diapers still, but already it's
Well,
starting.
Bovine he'll be 4 in July, but, he's still 3. They're 4 months apart.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
Sophie, won't be 3 until November, so.
Okay.
They're 3-year-olds.
right,
And
right.
they want to stop every 5 seconds.
Uh-huh.
And in the car, when you get them out there, like,
Now, the longest I've ever traveled with my kids was 12 hours.
That's a lot.
But that's stopping in the middle. And I can't even imagine going.
Keeping them
the distance you
entertained.
went.
Oh, no, it was hard. I mean, it wasn't hard, but, it was, oh my gosh, at the end of the day, you're just wore out. You
Yeah.
answered all these questions, the TV has ran and ran and ran, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
So it's like you don't do anything physical, but mentally you just can't take anymore.
You're,
Yes.
What do you mean the TV with all the garbage going on down there?
no, their TV.
Oh, you have that.
DVD player?
Hell.
Yes.
I don't think you could travel without that. I don't know how
So
people could.
how many kid shows have you watched in the last, or heard, or listened to?
Oh, let's see, we watched Trolls in the last, oh my gosh, it's like the 9th of May, we left that night, so we watched Trolls probably 25 times, and you know all the songs.
So let's see,
Oh, yes,
so
you do.
3-year-olds, are they into any regular TV, like Max and Ruby? Is any of that stuff still on, or Dora, or?
No, they're into
Stuff all gone.
Patrol.
And,
How about Octonauts, is that still around?
they like that,
Yeah,
but not
my
as
son
much.
loved it.
Mickey Mouse and Great House.
As well. Paw Patrol, Clubhouse, and Shrek. My son loves
Yeah,
Shrek.
Shrek, they like Shrek, Ice Age.
Ice Age, yeah. What's they took probably a little too young for Despicable Me and Hotel
Well,
Transylvania.
they've watched them, they don't, like.
They don't really get that.
Bovine loves dinosaurs, so
Yeah.
they get dinosaurs. I have
Is
watched
Bob the
them.
Builder still popular? Okay.
My son loves Hotel Transylvania. Mama, monster?
Yeah, but they don't pick up on the little innuendo.
No, which is nice for adults because like Shrek and Hotel Transylvania, adults can watch too and enjoy.
Right.
Something for us too.
Right.
It's nice.
Well, Angela, the reason we're here, we want, like I said, we want to get you guys away from Pike County because we're worried about what's going on down there. The media is all over the place, and I know you're a little disturbed. We had no part in that stuff, so we want to talk to you maybe just a fresh perspective on
Okay.
things, okay?
That's the way.
But this is the thing, you're being patted down and they're asking you questions because you're coming from Canada to the United States. I have to, because you're in this room and you're at the border, have to read you Miranda rights. Do you have a problem with that?
No.
That's just saying you don't have the right, you have the right not to talk to me,
Okay.
okay? And if you get uncomfortable at any point in time, you can shut me down and tell me to
Okay.
go away, all right? All right, Ross, guy, let's go.
We're not gonna skip her.
These are just the standard. Before you ask any questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can't be. You have the right to talk to only for you, just for any questions. I can answer questions now, but I'm aware of I have to believe you still have the right to stop. You also have the right to give a second listen to my voice, just tell me to go. And if you would, do you agree with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Do me a favor, Angela, would you just sign, date, and put the time right there? When I put the little X? Did you get some sleep in the car?
Yeah, as much as I always get.
I never was able to get.
When is it, 21st?
Yes,
It is.
correct.
And it is 10:10 a.m. currently.
That's mountain time. And would you read that part out loud for me? That's just.
I have read this statement of my rights, and it has been read to me, and I understand what my rights are. I'm willing to make a statement and answer questions. I do not want a lawyer at this time. I understand and know what I am doing. No promises or threats have been made to me. No pressure or coercion of any kind has been used against me. I hereby voluntarily and intentionally waive my right and am willing to make a statement and answer questions. Sign.
Yeah, same thing, right there, please, and I'll witness that later. Thanks, Angela, I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so you hear all this noise going on back home. What's your take on all this? And what your assessment of it?
Which part are you wanting to know?
Okay, so I want to get into your relationship with the Rhoden family. Could you discuss that? Again, I'm coming into this, act like you've had to, and I know this is dragging up a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
but just act like, because I don't know.
You don't know anything, okay. Here's the thing, the relationship I had with the Rhodens was through Hannah. Hannah and my son Jake were together for 5 years.
Were they married?
No.
Okay,
Did they intend on getting married? Yes.
Okay.
They had a wedding planned, everything was planned out for that August.
for what,
The
August?
previous, before it happened, August before.
Okay, so,
August of 15.
Right,
Okay.
yes. Actually, we had planned, when we were gonna plant sunflowers and, for the walkthrough, it was all planned out. She had everything organized, everything ready. And, I don't know, then she wanted a break. And she took a break and
like when you say break, like who did she relay that to?
to my son.
To your son Jake? Okay.
Yeah.
How did he take it?
Well, it was hurt.
Of course.
Jake, she was the love of his life.
Right.
I mean, my son doesn't take anything lightly.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is just like with Sophie, he's the best dad, that he could be. I mean, he does the best he can, but he was hurt. He was devastated for a while, but they stayed best friends.
Right.
She talked to him all the time, he talked to her.
That's nice for Sophie.
It is, and that's the one thing that they did. Everything was for Sophie. She breastfed for the longest time.
Which is
With
good.
Sophie, she did. She didn't take anything, didn't do anything out of the ordinary. She wasn't supposed to, for Sophie. She wouldn't even eat spicy food or,
Oh,
anything. And Sophie was a child. I mean, my gosh, she was a child. But she was a baby. But Sophie was born with a, what do they call that? I forget what they call it, but the flap in your,
Oh,
right
it
here.
sticks,
Well,
right?
it was too big, the little flap where you breathe in right in here, and it would, she would stop breathing in the middle of the night, literally just stop breathing.
It's
And
horrifying.
if you knew she was okay, it sounded like she was snoring when she was sleeping, so as long as you heard the snoring, you know she was okay. But when the snoring would stop, you would know that at that moment, she stopped breathing. So they did a bunch of tests on her and everything, and she had to have surgery when she was, I don't know, maybe 6 months old, something like that.
Ugh.
And that's tragic enough.
How can you sit through a surgery of a 6 month?
It was hard.
I'd be-
They both cried. We all cried.
I'd be mortified.
Even Bullvine, he was just a baby, and she was on that side of the glass door, and she had her little IVs in and stuff, and he was on this side, and they were kissing each other. I mean, they've always been close, It was sad. It was.
It's so nice that they're so close in age, too.
And,
Yeah.
so, they went through a lot in the beginning with Sophie. I mean, it was trips to Cincinnati Children's Hospital almost every single month, and getting her tested and checked, and, I mean, it was a lot going on.
It's a lot of stress.
But Sophie didn't have it as bad as most. Some kids had to have feeding tubes and stuff is how bad, so she didn't.
So when this, how old's Sophie now?
3.
Okay, were they together when this happened? Was,
The surgery and everything?
yeah, was Jake
Yeah.
and, okay.
Yeah, it's only been a year
It's only been a year?
since the incident happened,
Right, I
So
know.
Sophie was about 2.5, I think, and she had that when she was like 6 months.
Yeah, but my question was, they were together though, right? Okay, did they live together or did they did?
Well, when Sophie was born, she lived down Jake drove truck. We had our own cattle truck, cattle
Okay.
pot, semi. So my husband would go out with one of the sons. They'd stay out for like a week, and then they'd come back in and they would switch.
Okay.
So, because Hannah and Jake wasn't married, she would go stay with her family when Jake was out,
Mm-hmm.
and she'd take Sophie.
Okay.
And then, of course, we could always call, and talk to Sophie, or if we were going past there, we could stop and talk or to her or something.
Okay.
It's no big deal. But she would go stay with her family. Then she would come back when Jake would come home.
Okay.
So it's the
And
same.
this is early on, right? Okay.
Yeah.
How long were they together? Okay, so they were together for a little, how long would you say they were together before Sophie was born?
Well, it's 5 years altogether.
So, okay.
When did they split up?
Like how long before Sophie was born or,
Oh,
I mean,
no.
how long after she was born is what I meant to say.
It was maybe months,
Okay.
Okay.
maybe before the incident
Okay.
that they split
6
up.
months before the incident
Yes.
last year? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I know, let's see. Yeah, probably about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know why Hannah wanted a break?
You know what, I don't know. I know that Hannah was real young when her and Jake got together. And
What's the age difference between the two?
Hannah was 13 and my son was 17.
Okay,
16 and a half, something like that.
Okay.
okay.
I still remember the first day they met. You know, we was at the fair and she had a rabbit. God, Sophie's just like her too. And we had a rabbit and she looked at Jake and she's like, "You want to pet my rabbit?" I still remember it. Yeah. And sometimes Sophie looks just like her. She makes the faces that she does and stuff. But anyway,
That's gotta be tough.
well, you know, Hannah called me mom. And, yeah, it's hard. And then when I try not to think about it. Because if I don't think about it, I don't get upset in front of them, is what I try not to do, you know.
Right.
But, it's really hard, you know, when Sophie, like when we was on this trip, Sophie says, we pulled in this out all night, we passed this little campground, and Sophie says, "There's my mommy and my Nana." And I said, "Where, honey?" Because, you know, we always tell her that they're in her heart, and she doesn't know the full aspect of where.
Okay. Right.
And she says, "They're over there, they're camping, they come with us." You know, and I mean, and I let her talk, and I let her explain things, or she gets her toy phone and she'll call her mommy, you know, on her toy phone, and it's always her mommy and her Nana.
So she still has pretty good memories then.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is, like, especially Dana, that's her Nana.
Okay.
She would, like on the weekends, you know, she would take Sophie somewhere, or Sophie and Brentley. She always had them, you know, and she would take them shopping or out to eat or somewhere to the zoo, or, you know, that's what she did on her days off. And
Okay.
so, you know, and so she was real close.
So your relationship with Hannah was good?
It was. Now, I'm just going to tell you, I kept trying to explain this to Ryan and Jonathan. We had a typical mother-daughter relationship. You know, she was a teenager. I mean, we had...
Some frustration.
Well, when she first started hanging out, I thought she was a spoiled brat. I mean, not that I have sons and I thought she wasn't good enough. I mean, you know, but I thought she was a spoiled brat because she really was. I mean, no offense, but she was. She was 13. Her dad let her get away with everything. And oh my gosh, she would just, if you'd say, you know, like it'd be raining, and she'd go outside and she'd always bring her friends over, and they'd run out. We lived on a farm. She'd run out there and get mud from head to toe, and then she just want to come in the house and plop down. And I, you know, we live on a farm, but you know, get your butt outside and, you know, get the mud. And oh my, she would give me looks, and she would snarl, and she would tell Jake I was being mean, and you know, but that's typical teenage
Yeah,
stuff.
well, typical, sometimes mother-in-laws can tell.
The mother-in-laws are the worst, of course.
Right, that's an
Yes.
easy
Yes.
scapegoats.
Yep, I did that to my poor mother-in-law. Now I think, oh my gosh, that was horrible, you know, but,
This is the insight I want from you. So now, and I'm trying to get as much knowledge about the Rhoden family as I possibly can. Okay, anytime you have people that have been, you know, if you want to call them victims of a crime, then you want to get to know what intimate details about the family possibly can.
right.
And in this case, when you have people that are very tight-knit, you know what I mean, families that keep really close together, it's kind of difficult to, you know, get into that circle and basically
Right.
find out what's going on. So, I mean, we obviously know Hannah, when she separated from Jake, had some other relationships, had another
Right here,
child.
yes. Mhm.
So how did that go? I mean, and I know I'm asking obvious questions, but I
Did
don't
my son
know.
get mad?
Yeah. Did he get mad? What was your reaction? What was his
No.
reaction?
No, Jake, because by that point, when he found out, okay, that a long time, he didn't even know
That she was
that
what?
she had boyfriends.
Okay.
He didn't, because, I mean, she would call him up or text him or talk to him or something and want, you know, they would talk about Sophie and they would talk about getting back together, you know, and he worked and went on and Sophie on his week. And, you know, Jake had Sophie, when they before they broke up and she moved out.
Okay.
She started going places with her mom. And like, she would leave Sophie, because, Jake wasn't working. So they had made the arrangement that when Jake was home, he wasn't saying, hey, you can't take Sophie, she's my daughter, not yours. It was just when he was home and not out on the road, he wanted to spend time with Sophie.
Which is understandable.
Okay, so if she went somewhere with her mom or something like that, he would say, they see her all this week over here, I want to see her, so if you have to go do something or you want to go do something, just leave her here with me. Because, she was already not breastfeeding by that time.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, she started going. She would go with her mom and stay going all day. She would leave early in the morning
And Sophie would be with
us.
with
Yeah,
you guys.
at the house, right. And, but then, later on as time passed, he found out that apparently she wasn't with her mom. Because a couple times, Sophie got sick, and we tried to find her. And, we thought she was with Dana, so.
And Dana's home without.
And Dana's like, I know nothing about that.
Right.
So, she must have been somewhere. But,
Right.
she come home just fine, like nothing was wrong. So, but nothing ever came of it. And of course, I don't know, that incident there, I think Dana later said that she was over at a cousin's house or something like that. But, by the time he found out that she really had all these other boyfriends along the way and stuff, after they broke up and stuff, they had already decided not to get back together.
So would you say he
So
wasn't
everything was
as,
about Sophie.
he wasn't as phased as he would have been if they were still,
Right.
so was his reaction what you would expect from anybody? Pretty,
Yes. Yes, it was, but I'm
Measured.
not just taking up for my son, but
No,
I'm just
listen,
saying,
I
he
want
wasn't
to know
mad
everybody's
enough.
reaction.
He wasn't mad enough, or ever would he get mad enough to do something like that to his
Right.
women because of one thing. And it's that thing sitting in the
Right.
floor out there. He wouldn't do it because she loved her mommy. They had a super close relationship. He would never do that to her. To this day, everything is about Sophie. That's just the way it is, And as far as Dana and Chris and little Chris spent a ton of time at our house. Because in the beginning, if Hannah came, little Chris came.
Okay.
That was Daddy's rule. I don't know how it
Oh,
happened,
okay.
but that was Daddy's rule.
So Hannah was gonna be there, little Chris was
like
gonna
a
be there.
chaperone,
Kind of, that was the worst chaperone in the world.
probably.
He's even younger than Hannah, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Yes.
rambunctious.
And he was, oh my gosh, well, he was spoiled. Seriously, he was. Little Chris would, if he didn't get his way, he would lay down on the floor and start flopping around. And this is like, I'm talking like at 10, 12 years old. He'd start flopping around.
Really?
Yeah.
That's spoiled at that age?
Way old enough to know better.
Yeah.
To do that.
They went fishing one night. I'm sure they'll tell you. I don't know the whole details, but they went fishing, and was on the way back. And it was the middle of the night. And he got mad about something and jumped out of the vehicle. Because they were
Whose vehicle?
They were going slow. Well, Jake's, because Jake, I think he was taking Hannah home or something. But anyway, they were turning in a road, so they were going
Okay.
slow. But, he gets out and he lays down in the middle of the road and starts having a fit. And I'm talking, he did this more than once to several different people.
And how old was he then? Still 11, 12 years old? or-
Yeah, that's,
9, 10, something like that.
Yeah,
He would
yeah.
the house,
It's ridiculous.
I never was, like bossy. I tried to always be something I thought my mother-in-law wasn't, but, I had stuff to do, and so they were always there, and, especially on the weekends, I'd be like, oh, let's do this or this, and he didn't want to one day. He didn't even want to help pick up trash. And then he laid down in my driveway and started having this fit. And I thought he got hurt. I'd never seen that before in an older kid.
Did you ever see how Chris interacted with his dad? Were you around the interaction? How was he? Was it? Could you see the obvious effects of why he was
Oh,
spoiled?
they acted that way in front of Dad, but Dad, you didn't touch little Chris. You didn't say
He
nothing
was
about it.
the golden
If I said
child.
anything, I said stuff several times, because I just wasn't raised that way. I didn't act that way.
Now, are your parents still alive?
Yes.
They are, okay.
And you just didn't do that, And if you said something to Chris, it was, hey, I acted that way when I was a kid. You don't like him, Hannah don't need to come either.
oh,
So I'm stuck in the middle,
Okay.
So yeah, but Chris was a good kid, he just was spoiled.
Yeah, so what was what was your relationship like with Chris Sr., Hannah's dad?
I didn't really have one. I talked to him, You know, when.
Out of necessity?
Well, not, I mean, if I seen him, I said hi. I mean, you know,
Right,
him
right.
and my husband were friends.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris and I, you know, I talked to him, he came over and ate dinner a couple times. It's not like I could have he got mad at me one time. And of course, you know, I wanted to make sure that was smoothed over for Jake and Hannah.
What did he get mad at you
When
about?
Hannah got pregnant by Jake,
Okay.
she wouldn't tell. And she went 4 months without going to the doctor, no checkups, no vitamins. She wouldn't tell. And I told her, I said, you've got to tell.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go to the doctor. She wouldn't do it. She wouldn't let me tell. She wouldn't let Jake tell. And she wouldn't. Finally, one day I said, this is it. That's my grandbaby. You're going to either go to the doctor and I'm going to take you, or you're going to tell or I'm going to tell. And
How
I
did they
said,
end up finding out?
You know what? I don't know, because I did take her.
Did you tell them?
No, I did take her to the doctor.
Well, good for you.
And I did get her to go, and she had her checkup and pregnancy test, and they put her on vitamins. There was someone at the doctor's office that she knew, that worked there. I don't know, by 2 days later, they knew.
It doesn't take
my
long for
son-
word to spread there
because
either.
Jake, you know, he said, we're gonna tell, because, you know, he don't like hiding it. Like, he said, we're gonna tell. So he went, and Chris, you know, he was mad. And he said, I already know.
Well, I mean, who did he vent? Did he vent to you?
Oh, no, he wouldn't talk to me. He was mad at me.
Did he
But he
vent
was
to?
mad because I took her to the doctor.
Did he vent to
Right.
anybody, your husband? Did he vent to him? To his-
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay,
To solve another question for you real quick.
Sure.
The relationship my husband and him had,
who's him?
Chris
Okay.
Senior, that I never got involved with. I
Okay.
The relationship between, and your husband's Billy, right? Okay. Your relationship between Billy and Chris
Mhm.
was you didn't have any involvement in that?
No, I did not get.
Well, I mean,
I
was
did
there
it.
something odd about it, or was it just
No, I'm
guys
just-
being guys?
No, I mean, the thing, what I'm trying to say is, I knew they were friends. I knew they were best friends.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that he was at Chris's a lot, when he wasn't on the road and stuff, you know, and I know they hung out, and I know that Chris come, you know, down to the house and talked to him a couple times and stuff, you know, or he would come down and, want to borrow something, or,
Yeah.
you know, Jake went and worked a job for him on a house one time, just stuff like that, you know.
Did Jake or Billy ever get out of that lake and work with Chris?
No.
No, okay.
No, Jake helped him fix a roof in Piketon. They're redoing a house in Piketon one time.
Okay.
Now, of course, the boys, they went to the lake a couple times, you know, one summer, they hung out down there for a little while, just moving off, you know, like kids do, way before there were ever any babies, but no, I mean, I don't, because I know Ryan and Jonathan had asked me if I knowed, you know, their conversations and.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
stuff like that.
that's,
No, I don't know that.
Angela, you have to know, that's guys, that's detectives, investigators. just
Yeah,
doing-
well, I understand.
Just doing their job, you know,
Yeah.
they don't, I mean, when you get to something to this, you know, this
Right.
magnitude, you know, you have to ask those questions that nobody
Oh,
wants
yeah,
to.
but I will tell you this, though, that tip that's out about him and my husband getting in a big fight,
Mhm.
the tip that Mr.
Yeah,
Manley supposedly.
yeah, like an argument in front of the house or something.
Yes, that Leonard is screaming. I know that I read that he is the one that is screaming this stuff, but those two would have never fought like that. They
No.
wouldn't. They didn't have that.
They've been friends for a while, right? Did they grow up together?
I don't know about that. They
Okay.
didn't, not that I know.
How long have you known Billy?
Since I was 14?
Okay, so you guys have been around each other for a really
Yeah.
long time. And how old are you now, Angela?
46?
Okay, so.
47.
Long time.
Yeah.
Your you know, your teens and almost your entire
Right.
adult life.
Right.
And how old were you when you and Billy got married?
I was 20.
Okay.
And
Did you have Jake first?
George.
Or George first? Okay, so it goes George and Jake.
Jake.
I got you. So you and Billy were kind of, you guys separate. Did you guys ever get a divorce?
Mm-mm.
No? But you had some marital issues where you,
Not really marital issues, just, we don't see things the way we used to. It's not a, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love.
you didn't tell me you want to take a break, did you?
No, and he stays at his mom's, not because we're having a marital issue.
Okay.
His dad is,
Is he sick?
his
Yeah.
dad's got like 3 months,
Oh,
if that.
oh.
What's wrong with them?
COPD.
Oh, was he a smoker?
Yeah, but he's got a whole bunch of, he's
Okay.
been beaten, battered by horses, and he's on blood thinners and, you know, he can't get, someone's got to help him in and out of bed, and if he falls out of the bed, then if you touch him, his skin just tears, and he's in really bad
So,
shape.
so is he kind of looking after him?
Yeah, because of that, he's actually been up there almost 3 years. I mean, he comes to the house all the time and stuff, you know, he'll spend the night down there and stuff, and the kids love him to pieces, but, his brother comes down and helps, you know, sometimes with his dad and things, but, him and his dad, he loves his dad, and he was the baby.
Oh, yeah, I'm the baby, so, you know, it tells you how old
You
I
know,
am.
so, it's, like this trip, that's all he's talked about is I should have been there, you know, should have stayed home, and you know.
It's a hard situation to be in.
It is.
It really is.
What, so when Hannah gets pregnant with the other baby, with the other guy,
With Kylie.
yeah, how did that go over with, how did that go over, number one, with the other boyfriend or boyfriends and Jake?
Well, one, Jake never talked to the other boyfriends.
Okay.
The only time he talked to Charlie.
We're trying to get a feel for the other boyfriends.
Well,
too.
Charlie's, you know, Charlie is the dad to Kylie.
It's Charlie Gilly, right? Okay.
Now, actually, Jake, the only time he ever talked to Charlie was whenever they was in the courtroom and they were going to determine who DNA was.
Yeah.
The paternity test.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because, and the only reason Jake had one done was because Hannah had broke up with Charlie.
And they were-
And Charlie broke up with her, I don't know which one. She came down one night, you know, and I watched Sophie and they went, you know, and whatever, and thought, you know, I want to get back with you thing, and, you know, lasted about a week or so, and then she went back to Charlie, and, you know.
And how did, so was Jake, really in love with Hannah where he would take her back? You know, that type of,
You know what?
we've all been in those
I would
relationships.
think that he might have,
Mhm.
but then, I don't know, because there at last, he was over it. I mean, you know, he was, it had been a while, and he was over it, and like I said, they were just friends. But
Were
Hannah
they?
kept saying she didn't, even she told me, she had texted me, when she texted me about being pregnant, she was afraid I would be upset that
Were
she
you?
was pregnant again. I wasn't upset, no.
No,
I was upset when she left Jake, yeah.
of course.
And I was upset the
Nobody
fact
wants
that-
their kids in
Well, no, and I was upset about the fact that, you know, before she left, like I said, Hannah and I had a wonderful relationship as far as a mother and daughter could have,
Mhm.
you know.
How was your relationship with Dana?
We weren't best friends, but we were,
You didn't flip each other off though either,
no,
right?
no. I mean, she would come to the house and get Sophie, you know, when we would talk, even like Bullman out there, he called her, you know, Nana.
Did that bother you?
No,
Okay,
I
good.
don't care.
Okay.
I wanted them, you know, to give you an example, you know, when the babies were born, I was wanting to be called Nana, you know. Well, then Dana, you know, she was there first with Sophie because,
So what did he call you? If he's Nana, what were you?
well, see, George got sick. It was his turn out on the road, right, because Sophie was being born. Well, he got sick, well, I had to go. So I wasn't there when Sophie was born. It was all, you know, on pictures and everything, well, Nana, you know, I'm Nana. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I went with Gammy.
Okay.
But it's not
So
Gammy.
cute, though.
It's not Gammy, it's Amity. Because they couldn't say Gammy.
Gammy's too hard.
So they made up their own name. So if you hear them say that, you know, my name's like in the car when they ask who Angela was, you know, both of them are like, it's Amity, you know?
And that's just stuck.
Yeah.
They called you that for so long.
Like, boy calls me Amity Mommy, and, because he's, you know, he's a little confused, and, so he calls me Amity, so.
Okay.
So you and Dana had a cordial relationship.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, we
you
saw
didn't-
each other at Walmart, you know, we would talk, you know.
now, let me ask you this. Your relationship pre-breakup, what was it like with Dana?
Same thing.
Pre-breakup? Just amicable? You weren't drinking beers at the local bar together, but you
No.
were, but
That's
you
not
wouldn't,
that.
you wouldn't
That's not
flip
even
each other
me.
off.
That's not even me.
I'll just use it as an analogy.
No, Dana
I mean,
would
you
say
didn't go
that.
drink coffee together, right? Do you drink coffee?
Yeah, but.
Okay, you didn't go sit and drink coffee with her for hours and talk about your mutual.
Nope, we talked when she came to the house to pick up her drop off, and we would talk like we see each other at Walmart, you know, or at the store, the gas station, something like that.
You don't avoid each other when you're out or anything.
So was your relationship this kind of, you know, innocuous, kind of, you know, cordial relationship? Well, did it stay the same
Both,
After the
yes.
breakup?
Even after.
So did you ever, so you never got into it with Hannah, like, what are you doing to my son, what are you doing, you get knocked up by another guy, and now you got another guy.
I wouldn't even, I know. I
You wouldn't even, you
never
wouldn't even.
said that to Hannah, no, because I know, common sense, okay?
Mhm.
She's young. Hannah was pretty. She worked really hard after Sophie to lose a bunch of weight, and let her hair grow out and everything. And she'd never been that skinny before. And so then Hannah's young. And if she wasn't going to be with Jake, she's not going to be a nun. I mean, that's not going to happen, And
She's gonna have boyfriends.
She's going to have a relationship, and young girls nowadays seems like they get pregnant constantly. But, I didn't get mad over it.
Okay.
I mean, if you go through Hannah's text messages, you can see where she texted me. And I was like, Hannah, I even told her there, I'm not upset. It's just not, I'm not. I wasn't upset about it. She texted me, she talked to her about it, she'd come down. She'd stay sometimes, she'd pick Sophie up, she'd stay, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, sometimes when she wasn't working.
Mhm.
And we would sit and we'd talk about the kids growing, or we'd talk about this, or, just stuff we used to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, I missed her when she left, because we were the upstairs people. It was our little joke, because my bedroom was upstairs and her and Jake's was upstairs.
Okay.
And when everyone went to sleep, me and Hannah couldn't sleep, because we were up with babies or something. We'd sit at the top of the stairs and, we'd talk. I mean,
No,
that's what we did.
that's what mother-in-laws and daughters and daughter-in-laws,
So, yeah, I mean,
we all experience that.
and when she left, I mean, I missed that. We cooked together and, it was,
What was Billy's relationship with her?
with Hannah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, he loved that girl. He called her his brat, but he loved her, Even, I mean, that's why I always told Chris. I said, Chris, when I first met her, and she hung out there for a while and stuff, I said, Chris, even if they break up, she's still going to be my daughter. Sorry, but you're going to have to share. I told him that because that's with Hannah. She was just that way.
Right.
I mean, she could be a smart aleck, and she could be a brat, and she could give you the most evil looks in the world.
But this, anytime you have your son with your friend's daughter, sometimes it could strain
Yes.
relationships. Did that strain a relationship with Chris and Billy, Chris Senior and Billy?
Not that, I never seen it.
Okay.
The only thing I know is like if there was any complications at all, like Hannah wasn't keeping up her end of the bargain, like with Sophie coming over or
Right,
holidays,
custody issues.
or like
Custody
on
issues.
holidays, like if like Mr. Manley and Judy, Leonard and Judy, they have their dinners 8 o'clock in the morning. That's their dinners for Christmas and Thanksgiving.
At 8 a.m.?
8 a.m.
That's bizarre.
8 a.m.
Okay.
That's when they
That's
have
weird.
it. And dinner's ready at 8 a.m.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
If you get there like at 10, there's nothing left. But that's when they had them.
That's weird.
So, I know.
I'm sorry, I have to
I don't mean to
say.
be, we don't mean to be judgmental, but that's
Well, I
odd.
don't know, Hannah used to say they wanted to get it over with and done. So they have it over and done by noon.
I like to savor my
Me
holiday.
too, like, I like to extend it out as long as I can
Yeah.
for that.
No, not them, that was early morning.
Okay.
So, when we tried to, when Jake and them tried to split up, it was, we tried to all accommodate around that, So she would get Sophie.
Would you split
First
the
half.
holidays
Yeah,
or
they-
split the day? You
Well,
split the day?
what they did, they would split it.
Okay,
the
that
day.
makes sense, fair.
And the reason they did is because, my family lived like an hour or so away.
Okay.
And usually,
Where's your family from?
South Webster. It's on the other side of Portsmouth.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, so not too far.
Yeah, it took about an hour to get there.
Okay.
But from Eagles.
There's probably no direct road there, is there?
Well, 32, 23, and then, 104, and yeah, it takes a little while, but anyway. But anyway, that's what we did. So we tried to, she gets them up in the morning, and then of the evening, and sometimes, she would fuss about this or fuss about that, and Chris would always intervene. And he'd, say, Hannah, let's just keep it this way, don't change anything.
Mhm.
Or sometimes they changed the day, like they did swap out on Thursdays. And then that messed up, Jake wasn't home sometimes,
Okay.
working. So they switched it to Fridays. And then
So was Jake an over-the-road truck driver?
yes,
Does he still do that?
no.
No, he just doesn't want to do it anymore, or
Well, no, see what happened was, well, Billy broke his back.
did not know that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, he went out, he went out one time, by himself, and got pinned in a trailer by the house. And we didn't know it for a long time, and it broke his back, so.
Oh my God.
he-
So did he have surgery, or did he get
No,
on
he
pills? or-
just 6 months, he was, couldn't pick up anything heavy, and he wore like a brace around.
Yeah, I've seen that. When did that happen? When did he break his back?
A couple years ago.
Does he still suffer any ill effects from it?
Well, he hurts.
Is it like it's a constant hurt?
Yeah. Can
That's
I-
awful.
Can I check on him real quick?
I think I heard them go, I think they went to go get something to eat. I heard her say they were gonna run up and get something to eat.
There's a cafeteria one floor up, and they have snacks and
This
stuff
is
up there.
this is they're not, nothing's gonna, I mean, this is a federal facility, they're not.
Yes, I know, but I just don't.
It's part of their protocol, as it was explained to us,
Yeah.
it's like they want to they'll keep an eye on the kids, and so it's not
Okay.
I'll
an issue.
listen for them.
Okay.
I have pretty good ears, so I'll listen for them. I heard them say you want something to drink, and
Okay,
I'm
well,
sure
they're
they
probably are
upstairs.
hungry, but anyway, no, Jake doesn't do that anymore. But like I said, they switched to Fridays, and then Hannah wanted her weekends. It was one time it was messing up a weekend or something she wanted to do on a Friday, and wouldn't be back in time to do something, I don't know, so they changed it to Saturdays. And then when she started working.
So does that create a problem when they do that? When they
Well, no, I think
switch
that's-
up the days?
It doesn't, because like I said, there at last, she started working, after she was pregnant, well, she went and got that job and everything. And Jake had her, well, she was real sick with Kylie, and Jake had her more, while she was pregnant than he ever had her before, because Sophie is very rambunctious, doesn't sleep a lot, and she takes a lot of energy. And Hannah was real sick.
That would make it really hard for her to try to
Well,
keep an eye on her.
She was
and-
done schooling, too, and she was done her school stuff, and she was working, and she would call Jake several times and say, I haven't had no sleep, or I need to get a shower, and I need to get ready,
Let me ask you this, how was Hannah within her own family? How was her relationship with her mother and her father? We know that from what Jonathan and Ryan have told me, they have a complicated history.
They do.
And it's kind of tragic in a way, some of the stuff that I was told. So
Well, the
what
tragic part, I don't know, as far as that goes, I know that Hannah and her mom, when I first met her, did not have a good relationship at
Well,
all.
why is that?
What I was told from Hannah herself was that when she was little, that her mom was always gone. She was always hanging out at a bar somewhere.
Out partying.
And Chris would have to leave the kids with whoever, Bobby Joe or whoever would watch
Okay.
them, and he'd have to go get her at the bars in the middle of the night. Now, that's what I was told by
Now,
him.
did you know Chris Senior's dad?
No.
No, you never met him?
I know the things that were said about him and stuff. What I've heard though is, it's all untrue. But I don't pry and
Right,
that stuff.
right.
I never say, and with Hannah, she loved her grandpa. You wouldn't say nothing. You
Right,
wouldn't say nothing to
right.
her bad about. I mean,
Right.
it's the way she was, with family. I don't care if she. didn't
Was
like her or not.
Chris and her dad and Hannah and her dad Chris, were they fairly close?
Mhm.
They were?
Yeah, as far as I knew,
Now, what's your, I know you said that Chris and Billy, you didn't really get involved in their relationship or what they did.
right.
Did you know the other members of the family? Did you know Kenneth?
I know them, yeah.
So
I
you
met
knew-
them. Okay, here's the thing. I know them, met them a couple times. Did I talk to them a lot? No.
Just see them around type of deal?
Yeah.
Or like at family functions?
Well, no, I didn't go to family function. I went to one
Okay.
4th of July
Yeah.
party, and that was it for me.
Done?
I stayed a couple hours.
Pretty
and
wild. Was that when they
was it
race up
for
and down
me.
the street?
A little too wild for
It
you?
was way too wild for me. They,
Okay.
and like Brentley, the one that I went to, Brentley was a baby. That's, Frankie and Chelsea's little boy.
Okay.
And he was just a baby, and I mean, they were shooting fireworks off around him and cigarette smoke, and, all this stuff is around him. I mean, in his face, where he could breathe all this, and I'm not a party person anyway, you know, and I just, it was enough. I stayed a couple hours.
Speaking of that, did you know the reputation of he and his new boyfriend? Did you know what?
Which one?
Corey? Yeah, Corey. Did you know his reputation?
You know what? I did not know anything about Corey.
Corey's last name?
Holdren.
Holdren, yeah. So did you know what he was all into and what he?
I didn't know.
You didn't know any of that?
Not until, well, Jake told me what Charlie said. Other than that, no, I didn't know.
What was that? What was said? What did he tell us?
That he was, maybe it was Carson told me. Somebody told him that he was into drugs, but I didn't know it. The only
You didn't
thing
know it at all?
I didn't know that he was into drugs.
Yeah,
No,
you
I
didn't
did
know
not
that?
know that. No.
Because as close as you are to Sophie, I'm sure you wouldn't want Sophie around that type of
No, I don't.
environment.
And rightfully so.
Yeah,
I mean,
but we're not knocking you for it.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't like, that's the reason why I never did, you know, not saying I never did party, I did drink a little bit, you know, when I was in the Air Force and stuff, but as far as teenage years, you know, no.
You were in the Air Force?
Yes,
For how long?
year and a half,
Okay, where were you?
Florida,
Okay, at
Homestead,
Homestead Air Force Base. Did you go to Lackland for boot?
in
Boot camp?
Texas.
Yeah, Lackland Air Force Base.
Yep.
Okay.
cool.
Yep, and I got out because my mom and dad got divorced and my dad's disabled and,
So you got out on a hardship.
yes,
What was your job in the Air Force?
supply.
Okay.
It was supposed to have been to work in the, mission department and then, you know,
What year were you in?
88,
Okay.
89.
So you went in Reagan, right, when Reagan was still, right, Reagan was leaving and Bush?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you didn't really know Kenneth well and,
No, I met Kenneth, I mean, I seen him at Chris's. Because, you know, I mean, when the kids were younger and stuff, I'd go over there, you know, and take Hannah home or pick Hannah up. Or when you take Sophie over, get Sophie or drop Sophie off or.
would you ever go to Dana's house?
Yeah, I've been to Dana's
The
house.
newer house?
No, never been to that one.
Never been
I
to
was
that
in the
one?
trailer that Frankie and Hannah Hazel lived in.
Right,
That
right.
one.
That's the one Dana moved out of when she moved to her new place.
Yes,
Okay, you've been in that trailer.
Mhm.
Were you ever in Chris's trailer
one time.
one time? How long ago was that?
Oh my gosh, I don't know, let's see, wait a minute, a year, let's see. 4 years ago?
Okay. Did you know what Chris Senior and them and Gary and all them and Kenneth were into? Did you know what they were into?
I did not know about any of that. When I went there, he didn't even have the new garage when I went there. He just, you know, the new building that's at like.
Right,
Market.
yeah.
He
I
didn't
think the
even have,
pictures you showed me, right?
it's a gray building.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like almost like a pole barn type, like a big, do they keep dogs in there or something?
I don't know what they keep in there. He was,
Okay.
when he started it, he was building a new garage,
Okay.
is what I was told. Because they do all those derby cars and everything, and he was building a new
Oh,
garage.
that'll make sense then.
Yeah, but when I was there, that wasn't there. And his house trailer, I went in, because Billy had to stop by. And he wanted to borrow my little white trailer to go get fireworks with. And he always borrowed my trailer to go get fireworks with. It's the one that, I don't know if you guys did it or who, but someone confiscated my little white trailer. Well, anyway, Chris always borrowed it to do fireworks. He would go, you know, buy a whole bunch of fireworks.
It's a whole lot of fireworks they have.
Well, that's what he did. He would go buy them wholesale.
Okay.
And then he had them for his party, and then I think he took them to the lake for the big fireworks down there.
Oh, okay.
So he would get a whole trailer full of them.
Mhm.
Some of them, I think he would sell some to some people or something, I don't know, but they would set fireworks off like crazy out there at his party. So he would borrow my little trailer, he borrowed it, I don't know, 4 or 5 times maybe. But anyway, he stopped by because he wanted to know about the trailer. And,
Did you go inside or were you just
yeah,
outside?
yep, I did. And,
Who was all there
I
when
did
you
not
were
go
there?
back. Not because
You didn't like it?
I don't like sitting on a couch that has this much dog hair on it. No offense, his dogs were great, you know, I mean, but no, I don't like sitting in dog hair.
I also do not like sitting in dog hair, so it's no offense to
My
me.
husband does not care about
Your
that
dogs?
stuff.
I have 2 dogs.
You know, my husband, he don't care about that, but me, no. I don't like to, so I just did not go back.
Whereas dogs, at least, I mean, friendly, you don't have to worry about anything like that.
No, you have to, okay, let's put it this way. If he's there, you're okay.
Okay.
Now, Chance is pit bull, big lovey dog, sweet as he can be.
Oh.
As long as you know
They're home.
they're home. Now,
Okay.
Jake's gotten bit several times by Chance. I mean,
Why is
he
that?
did bite his butt off. Serious. Well, when him and Hannah was first together and everything, you know, one time he went there looking for Hannah and, you know, he didn't pay attention and he went up to knock on the door and Chance got him by the pants, but where Jake wears back his pants, he got the pants instead of his butt.
That's a good thing.
Jake ran
We
for
wore
his
that.
life and, I mean, they were that way to him to the, I mean, even then, you know, he took it to Chris's house, I mean, that's the way it was.
So you don't, so when this incident occurs, where last April, so what were your initial thoughts?
I was horrified.
Right, but
Hannah
then-
had just been to my house. Let's see, wait a minute. That was on, what day was the 22nd on?
it was a Friday.
Friday.
morning.
Right, she was there on, I think Wednesday.
For
I'm
what?
pretty sure it was to bring Kylie down. For us, because the
Okay.
DNA tests and stuff had not been done yet.
Okay.
And she wanted us to meet Kylie. So she was at the house that evening and she brought Kylie down and we all held Kylie, you know, and she was like this big.
Who was all there when she brought her down?
George, Jake, me, the two babies.
Okay. And was everything cool or?
Yeah, she was making fun of Jake because he had tried to dye his hair a little darker brown and it turned out more black and she was making
She went to black?
she was making fun of him, you know, about his hair and stuff, but no, we were, I mean, everything was fine. She, you know, she wanted us to see Kylie and stuff, and then Kylie, she was so tiny. I mean, Sophie wasn't big, but she was, so Kylie was tiny.
Okay. So she's not a preemie though, right?
No, she was just tiny, but like I said, Hannah was really sick.
So when this incident happened, how did you first find out about it?
The news.
Like in the morning or?
You know what, I don't, it was morning time, I know, because Billy was watching the news, and,
Were you guys together?
yeah,
Okay.
we've never been separated.
You've never lived in two different places?
Yeah, but not like a separation. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
I mean, you know,
I understand what you're saying.
like when we go home, he'll probably go to his mom's, and he'll probably stay at his mom's, you know, up there, maybe a day, maybe 2 days, maybe he'll come stay with me a day.
Especially considering dad's sick and everything.
Right,
Yeah.
it's not that, hey, we're separated, you know, he moved over there and I live over here, it's not that kind of.
So where, do you
situation.
remember where you were when you heard about the incident?
I was in the kitchen,
Of what residence?
oh, the Peterson Road
Okay,
farmhouse.
okay.
Yeah, and I was in the kitchen doing something and I came in and something popped up. I was not paying attention. I was doing something with the kids and he started freaking out. And then we watched it.
Like how was he, tell me how he was freaking out. I mean, I just,
You know,
I
oh
don't
my
know,
gosh,
I don't
he was
know
done-
Billy, so.
He was on the, well, I can't do his thing he makes, but, you know, it was the, oh my gosh.
Right, right.
And then Jake, so anyway,
Was Jake there at the house too?
you know what? He went somewhere that morning, I think. I can't even remember the whole thing now. I think he went somewhere. I can't remember. He was outside. I don't know. We were just all upset over it. But, I know when he went down to the hospital that day, and he was all upset.
Hospital for,
When they took the kids,
oh,
where April was.
okay.
As he wanted to make sure Kylie was okay. But it was devastating. I mean, my goodness,
Well,
because then we were trying to
did you
hide.
hear when the news broke, and I don't ever remember watching the news, I know some of the other agents did, but when the news broke, did it give detail about who or what, or, I mean, that being kind of a tight-knit community, meaning,
I know.
Your phone had to be blowing up.
I don't remember. Well, see, here's the thing. Like I said, I know all those people up there. Okay? I know Hannah had a cousin here and a cousin there, and there's a cousin and a cousin and a cousin.
Right, right, right.
I know all that. Because everywhere you go with Hannah, that's, oh, you know, Walmart, 5 aisles, that's a cousin of a cousin or a cousin, you know, hi, how you doing? That's the way it was.
They're cousin twice removed.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there's a lot of Rhodens down there.
And they still talk. I mean, and if they haven't talked to somebody, you know, in 3 or 4 years, they still stop and talk to him, you know, and who are you? Well, you know, I'm such and such and such and such. And, oh, yeah, I know you, you know. That's how they were. But I did not talk to them enough for them to just call me, you know what I'm saying, and say, hey, this.
Yeah, but I mean, you have a blood connection now.
They still don't do it.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about necessarily their relatives, but now the whole community knows something happened with the Rhoden family.
Right.
I mean, I guess my question to you is, were you getting details
No.
from anybody other than the news
No.
of what happened?
No, I wasn't. The only thing, like Jake, you know, a couple people called him, and that I asked him what was going on, but no, I didn't get any details.
What was Jake's response
Jake was devastated.
when
He was crying, he was upset.
was he
you
home?
know.
So was he home when he heard the news? Were you guys all together when you heard the news?
He was outside. I don't know what he was doing.
Oh, that's right. You said he went somewhere.
Yeah, he went to do something that morning, I think, and he come back, him and George, and he was outside, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember too much, I mean.
He and George both outside together, like they weren't in the house with you and Billy when the news came on?
No, I went on, I was doing something with the kids, and then whenever I seen what was going on, of course, I took the kids out of the TV room.
Right, that makes sense.
And so that's where I always am with the kids. But you know.
I can relate.
So, but no, I mean,
Now, George had a lesser connection.
My son?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the family. I mean, he didn't, you know, so what was he home with you when all this broke loose on the news?
Well, George didn't, I mean, him and Frankie, you know, talked and stuff like that. You know, but he didn't have a big connection with them, no, it wasn't like a daily basis.
Right,
or anything like that.
It's not like he has any children in common with, you know, anyone over there.
I know I asked earlier about Kenneth. Were you ever at Kenneth's house? You ever been there? Did you know where Kenneth was?
The only place I was, yeah, okay, up the holler, that's what they call it, but the only place I was where the swimming pond is that Chris built. I think it's down by Brady's, maybe?
Brady Rhoden's house?
Yeah.
I think I did hear about they would go down there and swim in
Yes, they built
the
this
pond or
Chris built
something.
a big swimming pond in the, like, you know, you go from the woods, and he built a big swimming pond. I went down there one time.
I think I did hear about
To
that.
go swimming, this was before babies were born. We went down there one time.
Okay.
To go swimming. And the dog Brownie tried to eat us.
Is that Kenneth's dog then?
Brownie, yeah. She was tied to a chain, and oh my gosh, that dog, yap, 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 yap.
Do you think, when did you hear that Chris and them and Kenneth were into some shady stuff? When did you
That
start?
wasn't until it came out on the news. I didn't know about that.
Did Billy know?
You know what, he says he did now, but at the time, he didn't tell me. That's why I said I didn't, because I
Is
didn't
that why you
ask-
said you weren't really knowledgeable about their relationship?
Yeah, because see, I mean, he would come home and say, you know, let's see, like, you know, Chris is upset because, little Chris, you know, he's doing this, or he got his driver's license and he's being bad, and Chris had to take the car away. I mean, he'd say stuff like that, you know, or I saw Hannah up there today, you know, and, you know, Brat's, I'm like, well, how's she doing? Well, Brat's doing, you know, I mean, that's what we would talk about. But as far as going into detail,
I think he would kind of maybe keep you sheltered to that so you didn't know about those sort of things.
could be, I don't know, we kind of, you know, in the beginning, when we were first together, we told each other everything. Then when our kids were born, you know, we still talked about stuff and things, but then I became more involved with the kids, you know, and taking care of the kids, and then, I don't know, then when he started driving truck, we more distant, you know.
Yeah, because he's away a lot.
Well, yeah, and he talks to people that, you know, I don't know, and so he's kind of got a life out there, and I got a life at home, and.
Before you know it, you have basically two separate lives.
Right, and it's, you know, we talk more about bills and that type of thing.
So what was your reaction to Billy when you found out that, you know, he wasn't completely forthcoming about what I mean, now your son's with a girl, okay, that's, you know, the daughter of these Rhoden family members.
Right.
Okay, you now have a granddaughter, which you seem to be, you know, totally enamored with, which makes sense, you know, that you love dearly, that's associated with this lifestyle over here. So, I mean, what was your reaction to Billy when you when you watch it
Well,
home, when you hear about these marijuana grows?
Well, here's the thing. Do I think that they should have done that? No. But, you know, they were, as far as what I could tell, they didn't make it like public to where if this hadn't
It
happened,
wasn't flaunted.
if this hadn't happened,
You'd never-
nobody probably would have never known.
They kept the kids separated from that life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She would have never known. At this point now, I'm not mad at my husband for not telling me what was going on.
Why would he, do you think he had some involvement with it, or he just had knowledge?
No, but I do know that he probably didn't give him his opinion. This is his best friend, you know.
Let's say
He probably
he's
sat and
the one.
listened. He probably didn't, I know he wouldn't have helped or anything like that, you know. I mean, that's not, but he wouldn't have done anything. You understand what I'm saying?
He would have participated in that.
No, but he also wouldn't have run down the street and said, hey, I know such and such has, you know, that he wouldn't have done that. But as far as now, like with Sophie, no, I don't want Sophie growing up. That's another reason we sold the farm. I mean, we intended on living there forever, but we sold the farm, we moved. Whether we moved to Alaska or we moved 3 or 4 counties over, is because I don't want Sophie growing up in an area where people are going to say, when she gets old enough to understand, your parents were killed, they were those, they were this, they were that, you know, because she has good memories. I don't want that spoiled. It's gonna be bad enough when she becomes a teenager, and you know, Facebook,
And starts asking questions.
Yeah, it
more
doesn't
and more.
matter where you live.
and start, you know, and starts looking stuff up, and, you know, I don't, and unfortunately, I got nothing against her. April and them out there don't know not to just blurt out, your mother was killed. And taking her to parties and stuff like that is a chore, because you have to watch and remind them, hey, don't say, you know, this happened, because we're scared to death one of them is gonna scream it. And then she's gonna ask questions. I mean, it's.
Things you shouldn't have to worry about
Well, you
people
know,
saying.
The thing is, even like on our farm, I had to really watch there for a while, you know, if the duck died. I couldn't say, well, you know, that duck got killed, or that duck died, now it's in heaven, because we tell her mom's in heaven visiting, and, you know, she's in her heart, and, you know, when she gets older, we'll explain, because I'm afraid she'll put that together. She's very smart.
So Angela, I want to get back to the day of the incident when you're home,
Okay.
and it's on the news, and that's where you're getting your details from. Do you get more details as the day emerges, as the day proceeds, or do more details emerge?
We got more on the news, and then, of course, you know, like I said, Jake went up to the hospital, and we wasn't,
Who did he
at
meet
first
up
we
there?
wasn't sure whether or not, you know, it was some or all or what had happened, you know. But Jake went up, and he went to check on Kylie, but they wouldn't let him in. And so he talked to Aunt April for a little bit, and then he came back, and then he talked to Chelsea that day, and he talked to Andrew Carson.
Did you go to the hospital?
No,
Okay, did you go
I
out?
stayed there with Sophie.
Did you go to the scene at all, or did Billy go to the scene?
I did not go.
Did Billy or Jay eventually go to the scene?
Now, I don't know. That I don't know. I know George didn't go. And I don't think Billy went. I don't think he did. I know they went to the funeral, and I stayed home with the kids, because we didn't want to take them.
Who ended up going to the funeral from your family? Okay, Billy, George, and Jake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the word? What was the, I mean, for something like that to happen in such a small community, what was the word? What were
You know
people
what,
saying?
the only thing that we heard at first was that there was some black people up there and they had gotten into a fight. And that's the first thing that we had.
I remember hearing something about that.
Did you hear about that fight before this all happened? Like that Chris Jr. got into it with some black guys? Did you hear about that before this happened?
That was afterwards.
It was afterward.
And, but other than that, you know, here's the thing, I don't talk to a lot of people. I am preoccupied with the kids and I just don't get out and talk to a lot of people. I have friends, but not the kind that, I go do stuff with every day or chit chat with every day. It's just,
Pretty much your life's just
I
consumed
just
with the
don't do
kids.
that. Yeah, that's what I do. I do that with my kids, and, of course, with my kids, I lived a mile off the road, so, and I had my dog kennel, and,
Mhm.
business was always busy.
Right.
But, so I really didn't know too much. I mean, I just what, you hear on the news or what you hear on Facebook or stupid stuff you hear on topics. They have the most dumbest things on there I've ever seen.
I just recently heard about topics. I had never heard about that before.
Oh, no.
So I went online to check it out and I thought, this is
ridiculous.
crazy.
And
It's crazy.
Some of the groups that they have, on there, like they have me as, I sold a fighter jet. And, I flew me and Billy to South America, and we had plastic surgery.
So you're a fighter pilot. That's pretty cool.
And because of the fact, that when you go through Canada, we don't have internet service. So when we went up, it took us like 3 days because we got hooked up. So for 3 days, we didn't post anything on Facebook. So apparently, I skipped and I mean, that's the crazy stuff, that.
Well, you know what people do. People are always looking for a story or something to
Yeah.
What were they saying though? That you left town or
Oh, yeah,
South America?
because we sold, because the
For what reason
newspaper,
would they say?
somehow
that?
the newspaper got it, that we sold the farm for $165, and we gave $175 for it. Well, that's wrong, we sold it for $200.
Mhm.
And
Well, they're always wrong. So.
yeah, and, and then, so that's wrong, we sold it for $200,000, and then, they had it that, we had a chop shop in the barn, and that my trailer was a pickup truck that was, stolen, was used in, was sitting at Chris's or something like that. And, and for the longest time, after a couple of days, I kept thinking, what truck did they get out of the barn? We didn't even own the property. I mean, when they went down there, and when you guys searched, it wasn't ours. It belonged to the new owners. So, I'm thinking,
Are you talking about the trailers that they searched, like recent?
the farm.
The actual farm itself.
Yeah.
Okay,
It wasn't
okay.
ours. When,
You had already sold it.
not you guys, but when the other.
No, I got it, we got it.
Searched, yeah, it wasn't ours. It was already
Yeah.
in Dwayne's name. But, and I kept thinking, what truck did they get out of that barn? I mean, there was nothing there except a little bit of stuff we left, and I kept thinking, and then when I had my brother go out and get the list of everything that was taken at Bernie Brown's, and then Bernie had said,
Who's Bernie Brown?
the unlimited motors on State Route 41.
Okay.
His son knows that, but Bernie lives there. He's a good friend of ours. We haul cattle with Bernie.
Okay.
Actually, Bernie helped us get into the cattle hauling. He's a great guy. But anyway, he had told me they came about the trailer.
Right.
Then I talked to Ryan about it because it wasn't on the
Yeah, what did
list.
Ryan say about it?
Ryan said that they were checking the places
Oh, okay.
if it was stolen, because I ripped his butt, because I have the title, I just bought new tags for it, I've had that trailer for over 10
Why do you think
years.
they were searching the farm?
I have no idea, you tell me, you guys are BCI,
Well,
because here's the
I'm
thing,
just asking your
here's
opinion.
the thing, they come down, okay? And they come down one day, this is probably, 2 or 3 weeks, I'll see if you take vacation, maybe a month ago, but they come down, they talk to Jake.
Okay.
And it's like at nap time, okay? And they show up, they didn't, well, first, they said they wanted to meet at the gas station. He couldn't because it was in Sophie's nap time. So they came down, of course Sophie, she had Sophie time. And she, probably made it hard on him, screaming for her daddy. But anyway, they talked to him forever and stuff, and they said they wanted his phone. Well,
Okay.
it's not that Jake didn't want to hand his phone over, but Jake and George use their phones for their business. They work on people's cars, or they
So they didn't want to just hand them over?
right, because, Jake said, hey, if you get to that point that you'd say, I gotta have your phone, no exceptions, I have to have it, I'll give it to you, but for right now, I have to have it, which makes, Jake
Okay.
uses it.
You're using it for your business, I can understand that station.
Usually,
They were fine
it's
with
got a
it.
lot of thumbs up.
Well, they were fine with that, and, so then, me and Jake was loading a trailer one day, putting the last little bit of stuff in the horse trailer, and, Brian came down, I can't think, not Jonathan, then another guy came with me, and he came down, and we were loading, and he's asking me all these weird, like.
What do you look like? Was the other
Mm,
Joe?
about the same height as Ryan, a little bit bigger.
Okay.
And had I forget what his name is, Jeffrey
Okay.
maybe, or
That's
something
fine.
like
That
that.
doesn't
But
matter.
anyway, and they was asking, where we hauled cattle, and Just stuff like that.
So why do you think they want the phones? And I'm asking your opinion.
Oh, I don't know. Well, because they said, the cyber guy that came and got the phone with the search
You know that
warrant.
word, huh?
Mhm.
That's what we call ours.
That's what he,
Computer
that's what
guy.
he said he was.
That's what he referred to himself as cyber.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
You're right. Mhm.
But, and I was taking care of Bullvine during his nap time, and Sophie ran in the house, Ebony, there was a guy out here taking my daddy's phone, come and get him. You know, that's what happened, and she's still distraught over that phone being taken that day. So, you know, I went out there and, yeah, I wanted to know why they were back, and, you know, so he told me, so that's how I knew. But anyway,
Okay. So again, why do you think they searched the farm?
well, I don't know. According to Jonathan and Ryan, they wanted the phones because they thought there was something on the phones that would give them information.
Okay.
And he said, you may not see it the way we will see it, so we
Mhm.
want to look at your phone. So, you know,
Makes sense.
so
Yeah.
anyway, Jake gave him the phone, and of course, he had to go buy a new one because they said, email him all his passwords, but his email went to his phone. So he went and got a new one. But anyway, we gave him everything. Okay, this is the part I'm upset about.
Sure.
We gave them everything they needed. When we were packing that day, they watched us pack. They knew where the trailers were. I didn't have to tell them I took my trailers to Bernie Brown's. Trailers at the Bernie Brown's, we told them exactly what day we were leaving, when we planned on being back, the whole 9 yards, everything. New cell phone numbers, everything. I even called them all the way along this trip to tell
Jonathan
them where I was.
Jonathan and
Yes.
Ryan.
And then, you know, we get halfway up the road and they're down there searching the farm, and then, I'm sorry, what they did to our stuff and our trailers is ridiculous.
What did they do?
Well, let's just put it this way, when I get home, I'm probably gonna have to pitch half of it in the trash.
Okay, what, did
That's
somebody
what
go look at it, or?
Well, I have pictures of it,
Okay.
and yes, I sent my brother over there
Okay.
to see what they did. And the biggest thing is, in those trailers was everything we had left that we owned.
Mm-hmm.
75% of it was Bullvine and Sophie's.
Okay.
Their stuff is her car seat that was sitting in, it's a little Princess Cinderella car seat that was in Jake's truck, strapped in for her. And her diaper bag is now laying on the top of a pile of stuff in the bed of my son's truck with a diaper bag with her clothes strewn all over the yard. That's ridiculous, okay?
Well, and I don't want to defend.
But the thing is, they could have asked. All they had to done was say, hey, they were there when we were loading.
Okay.
Hey, we want to search. Or, hey, you're moving, the 10th is your last day here, we want to search. I'd open the door. Here you go. It's easy to search now in the house because there's nothing in here.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, search. I got nothing to hide. You want to see the trailers? Here's the thing. I said you can search them, you can go through every tub. I'll sit it out for you. They could have stood right there and watched
Right.
me. I'll sit it out. You search it. I'll put it back in. I'll take my vacation afterwards. I wasn't trying to hide anything. I told them when I was going,
Mm-hmm.
where I was going.
Right.
I called them when I got in Canada and told them what hotel I was in. And then, you know, and then all these.
There's a lot of stuff in those trailers, I mean, from what we were
And
told.
so
Were
happened.
you at the trailer? You weren't at the trailers, I wasn't at the trailer.
Yep.
But there's a lot of stuff in those trailers that you've kept over the years, isn't that safe to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I sold half of it.
Okay. You sold half it before you left? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of stuff, you know.
Billy and Jake, and I don't know about George, but it seems like Billy and Jake are definitely into guns, right?
They all are.
Yeah, I mean, you live out in the country
And they hunt.
and they hunt, but they like guns, right?
Not like they're obsessed with them, no.
I'm not putting words in your mouth.
hunt.
Not putting words in your mouth. Do you,
So, yeah, they like
do you
to
like to
hunt.
shoot?
I do, but no, I don't do it on a regular basis.
Right, most.
I have a bow, I have 2
Right.
guns.
What kind of gun do you like to shoot? Just a long gun? Do you like handguns? Do you like both? Do you
I
like,
don't.
you don't?
I have one just for protection.
What do you have?
What's
What do you-
the 22?
22s,
Mhm.
okay. Do you also, Angela, do you like, when you being mom and grandma, do you shop a lot for the boys and Billy and pick up stuff for
I get the
them?
biggest part of it, yeah.
Okay, so like what type of stuff would you buy for them? Do you ever do clothing or you just do like,
Everything.
no matter what it might
Meaning, like,
be?
does Jake like to do certain things for like Sophie and would rather do it himself versus you going and shopping for it and
No.
things like that?
not particularly. It's not, it really doesn't matter. He likes to buy stuff for her, but if I'm in town and I say, I see this with that, he doesn't throw a fit whether I get it.
What, like, you know, my wife will like see something for me, you know, like if
I
I
do
need
that.
something like socks, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she'll buy socks, like, they're on sale.
They're on sale.
She'll grab them and says, you know, because she knows better than I do, because I could care less about going to the store. Where do you typically like to shop in that area? Like, where do you typically like to go?
Well, here's the thing. We do shop at Bass Pro,
No, I love Bass Pro.
and we go there for the babies love it. So we take the babies there. But Bass Pro is it, but we don't buy a whole lot there.
It's
The
expensive.
90% of my stuff I end up getting probably at Walmart, or sometimes I order stuff like, you know, little things for the kids or something I'll get off of goodwill.com, as long as it comes out of California or someplace like that, because you can get stuff that's, you know, like Nike tennis shoes are $10 for the kids, and they don't wear them out, so it's no big deal, you know.
Nike tennis shoes for
I
$10.
didn't know you could do that.
But it's good.
Where?
Shopgoodwill.com.
Oh,
Well,
gee.
I got a new website to check out. I do
You
love
gotta be picky, I mean, you have to make sure it comes from a bigger.
Buying shoes for kids, man, they go through them like,
so
They
fast.
do.
like so
They do.
fast, and they're expensive.
We spend a small, I only have one child, so I've
Well,
obviously spoiled him, so
yeah.
we're constantly spending money on shoes and things.
So you go to a Bass Pro, you go to Walmart, which Walmart's, you know, probably half of America shops there, if not more.
One-stop shop kind of place.
Yes,
So
unfortunately.
you pick up stuff for them. Do they ask you, you just do it kind of on an auto?
It depends, you know, sometimes the boys go do all the shopping and I'll give them a list. Or sometimes I don't go anywhere, basically by myself.
Mhm.
Sometimes, I mean, I've shopped a couple times with just me and the kids, but sometimes I'll
Who
give
do you
them
go
a
with?
list. Well, usually George and Jake,
Oh, okay.
or one of them.
They don't mind shopping?
They don't like it, but.
Do they just drop you off and you go in?
No,
or
no,
you-
no, they'll go.
They all go in with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Vine and Sophie have been through so much. Some days they have really good days. some
I know
days-
exactly what you feel about bringing kids into shopping.
Or
So-
sometimes they want everything on the shelf, you know, and then they, you know.
Takes you 3 hours longer than what it needs to
Yes.
because they won't let up on it. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Your Honor, we've paused it. I think it would be maybe appropriate to take a break. We've got, it looks like a little less than half left, and it's been about a little over an hour and a
All
half.
right. That would be consistent with what we're trying to do as far as taking a break about every 2 hours. So we will take a break until 5 after 11. While you're on break, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do not discuss this case among yourselves or with anyone else. Do not permit anyone to discuss this case with you or in your presence. Do not form or express an opinion concerning this case. Do no research at all concerning this case as to the facts or as to the law from any source at all. Do not read, view, or listen to any reports or accounts of this case from any source at all, and have no contact with any of the participants in the trial, including parties, counsel, or witnesses. Does counsel for either side have anything at this time before we break?
No, thank you. Just for the record, we're at 1:16:29
On the tape.
on it.
All right, so we are in break until 5 after 11. Assemble at the jury room at that time. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, Special Agent Commissford is in the witness chair, and the state may resume playing the recording at the point at which we stop before the break.
Do you need a rest or break? Do you need anything? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I mean, Angela, why is it that you think that we're here talking to you today?
Well, I presume it's because of, I don't know, the things that's going around, stuff that's being said.
Do you have any reason? Let me ask you this: do you guys have any problems with anybody in the community? Anyone that you've had altercations with, arguments with? Anyone that would have anything bad to say about you?
No.
No. Okay. Have any reason why you would think that somebody would come forward and indicate that you or someone in your family was some way involved in hurting the Rhodens?
I have no idea why anybody would say that, unless maybe one person would be my son's ex-wife,
Who's that?
Tabby. Clayton.
Tabby Clater?
Do you have a relationship with her?
Well, you know, she is Wolfine's mother, biological mother,
I know.
and she's Tabby. Let's just put it that
She's a
way.
little wild.
She's not wild, she has issues. She's supposed to be on medication,
Okay.
and she's not. She's bipolar, and
Bipolar?
you know, Tabby is just Tabby. That's why they're not together.
But like Jenny asked, why would people point at people in your family as being involved in this? That's what we want to
I
know.
mean, this
That's
is
why-
serious.
that's-
Well, I know it's serious, I know
We're
it
just,
is.
Angela, we're just trying to do our job.
I understand that.
And you've been great, don't get me wrong, you've been great. I mean, but we want to know why.
Look, I don't know. I mean, if you tell me who it is, I can tell you. But as far as altercations, no. Me, no. Like I said, the only one that does not like me is Tabby. She doesn't like me.
Mhm.
Now, she does when she's in my face, but when she's behind my back, no, she doesn't like me.
Okay, so she's nice to you at least when you're together in person?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know, which is weird, but you know, she just doesn't. And it's probably her mom. I don't never do get into it that much. But and as far as Jacob, Leonard Manley does not like him.
Mhm.
And that's Dana's dad, right?
Yes.
Is that right?
Is he
Okay.
the- is he the old guy that
Yep.
spouts off a lot?
On the news a lot?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, he's never liked Jacob.
What was you just jogged something in my memory here. What was the custody, or not, what were the custody agreements with Sophie at the time of
Okay,
Hannah's
here's the
death?
way it went. If you want to know, Jake had a lawyer, okay,
Okay.
Bruce Daly.
What is it?
Bruce.
Bruce Daly?
My mouth is right, it's Bruce, B-R-U-C-E, Daly.
Okay.
That was Jake's attorney.
Okay,
Hey, he talked to Hannah a couple times.
Okay.
So if you want to know the full details of that, I can give you that.
Okay.
But here's the thing, the way they worked it out was, like I said, she had her for a week, and Jake had her for a week, right?
Right.
As far as schools, churches, that kind of thing, Jake and Hannah really didn't see eye to eye on that.
right,
okay?
which, that's not uncommon.
But the whole family kind of worked out a thing, as far as daycare, okay? Daycare, we don't believe in daycare.
Okay.
I never did let anyone babysit my kids. I just didn't have a need for it. But, as far as
Daycare can be
daycare,
dangerous.
well, you know, I homeschooled my kids
Right.
too, so I didn't like Pike County schools.
Okay. Fair.
Daycare, though, we worked that thing out. You know, there was a whole family issue that was worked out, and it was that, you know, when Jake had her, if he needed a babysitter, the first person called was Hannah.
Okay.
Then after Hannah would have been me or Billy or George, my son George.
Okay, I get that. You kind of touched on that earlier.
Right.
This is who gets it, and that's all.
At the time of the incident, it was still sitting in that same position. They had done paperwork,
What was the paperwork going to say?
the same thing.
Okay, so there was going to be a written agreement to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And did the lawyer do that for him at any point? Did the lawyer draft something up?
He did do that for them. He wrote it all out. He wrote it all out once, then Hannah came in, and she talked to him with it and stuff, and then he rewrote it again, but, you know, because Hannah had wanted to change a couple things.
Okay.
He rewrote it again, and then Chris had told her that he wanted her to get it checked because, here's the thing, Bruce Daly was Jake's attorney, okay?
Okay.
Jake had paid him to do all of this stuff, so he said, I can't be your attorney and her
It's a
attorney.
conflict,
Yeah.
right?
So Chris said, okay, we'll get you an attorney to look over the paperwork.
Right.
I mean,
Did that ever happen?
well, here's the thing, she had an appointment to take it and have it looked over, and then something came up, and she rescheduled it. Then something came up again, and then something come up again, and then she was supposed to go do it, and it's still, that's the way it remained.
Now, was there any type of living will or anything, like, if something were to happen, this is where, you know, Sophie would go, or,
I have no idea on that.
you have no idea? Do you have that?
As far as that goes, I have no idea.
Something I want to show you, and I want to just see if you can help me out.
But like where Leonard is saying that there's a battle, you know, there.
Like a custody battle?
Yeah, there never was.
Okay.
They never went to court ever. The attorney is as far as it ever gotten. It was just basically writing up what was already in effect.
Does this look familiar to you, Angela?
Is that what you're talking about, that the lawyer drafted up for you guys?
Was that what, the printed
No,
date
this
on
is-
the one?
Yeah, this.
Yeah.
I figured you guys would take these papers.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, so this right here, does this look familiar to you?
Those are, well, they must have done them. I don't know when they were done. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember those.
You don't remember that?
No.
What year was Sophie born?
13,
13? What's her birthday?
November 18th.
Okay. So this is Christmas Eve of 2014.
So if it had been just a little over a year old.
This is what we're curious about though, and then it was, do you know who that is?
Yeah, that's my mom.
That's your mom?
Mhm.
So your mom notarized this,
Right.
but you didn't know about it?
I don't remember it.
Okay.
I mean, if it was, I don't
Now,
know.
this was in your things, okay? And this is the date it was printed out. Do you remember printing it out?
Was it in with these?
You know, I wasn't there.
Oh, well,
Angela.
We don't know, you're just
I
skipping the
wasn't there,
papers.
Angela.
I don't know.
But this is the date it was printed out off the computer.
I don't know. You know what? I might have printed it. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember on that.
And that would have been roughly 3 weeks before
This is 3 weeks
they were
before
killed.
murder.
I do
You don't-
not remember that.
You don't remember printing
I
it
mean, I
out?
don't remember. If I did, I don't. I might have done it. I don't remember.
Mhm.
Do you don't remember any reason why you would have done that?
I do not know.
You don't know, could it have, I mean, could somebody, did you definitely print? If this was printed, would it have been you? That's a fair question. I'm saying, if
Probably, I probably would. I don't remember it.
could you think maybe a reason why you would do it?
No, I don't. I mean, I just don't remember.
Right.
Okay.
But I know this, this is what they were going to use.
Mm-hmm. Who typed this, do you know? Do you know who typed these forms? It looks like an old, it almost looks like the old Word, you know, Word 98, remember that?
Yeah. Wow, ago, yeah.
No, these are what they were, okay, these are what they had talked about.
But do you know who drafted this form?
I typed this. But this is
Do you
not,
know when that would have been drafted, roughly?
you know what, I do not know.
You don't know when it would have been
No,
drafted?
I can't
Okay,
tell you
that's
the
fair.
exact time, but I know that,
And this is what you talked
This
about,
is what they
right?
had- yes,
The
this is-
50/50.
this is what they had talked about, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this is what they were going to take to the attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they were
Maybe
going to take
that's
that
what they
time.
already, I can't remember. I know that's what they were talking about, and that's what they were gonna take.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't, I don't remember, I can't remember when.
But your mom notarized the form that Hannah signed. For
Your mom's Rita.
In the event of her death, that custody goes to Jake, right?
Yeah, I would guess so.
Did you know that ahead of time, that in event of like a living will? I mean, we got living wills.
I know
Something happens to me,
Right.
I mean, it's
right.
not like, I'm not accusing you of anything.
Oh, I know.
We're just trying to narrow down this custody issue.
I know that, but I do know, I don't know that there was, I mean, that right there, if I printed it off, I don't remember this.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
That
that's
I really
fair.
don't know.
Okay.
The thing, this is.
I know that they did not ever have a battle as far
Okay.
as,
This is the thing,
Fighting
though,
over
Angela, this is the thing that we're just trying to iron out here, okay? The custody issue, we're trying to iron out and move on, okay? We got a notarized document in the event of, and this is, investigations 101. You know what I mean? You have, in the event of the death of, it would be like, for example, Angela, if you and I are married, okay? And I end up mysteriously poisoned or dead or mysteriously die, or by circumstances. And they find or if Jenny and I were married and I die of and Jenny prints out 2 to 3 days before my unsuspected death, she prints out all the documents related to my
Life insurance
my
policy.
life insurance policy.
Right.
You see where I'm going with this? So this ain't, there's not money involved, there's custody involved, okay? And we're just trying to iron this out so we can move on, okay? So that's where.
So we can explain, because we can explain this away.
My boss comes to me and hands me a packet and says, hey, we need to vet this issue. Either it's no good or it's good or whatever, and we need to move on. Because it's been a year now, and we want to do our job. We want to do our job diligently, and you've been great. I'm not gonna take that away from you. You've been sitting here and you've been answering our questions, and I
Thank you.
greatly appreciate it because you're making our life easier when you do that, okay? But we're just trying to figure out, this is really interesting to me, that this was printed out 3 weeks before the murder, less than 3 weeks. That it's Hannah's given up, custody, which would only make sense. I'm not
Naturally,
saying-
we'd assume it would go to Jake.
This is a very
obviously.
natural document, okay? And it was right after she was born. Not right after, but
Within a year roughly,
yeah.
give or take.
And then, you have it printed out three weeks before the murder. And that's something we just want to, and you said you don't remember printing it out. That's fine.
Like I said, if I did,
That's a year ago.
if I did, I don't,
You don't know why you would have?
no.
Okay,
I don't, I don't remember.
okay. Angela, I want to ask you about Billy and Jake and George. Tell me what do you feel that Jake would go beyond anything unusual because he's so heartbroken over this issue?
No.
And
It's
that,
not that,
this is.
I'm sorry, we just have to ask you these questions.
These
We
are
have
awkward
to.
for us too, don't get me wrong. When you have to, families are very intimate, okay? They're very intimate and they're very personal, okay? And you have two people sitting here with you in a room that you've never met before, and we're asking you to open up about things to people you don't even know. I'm trying to lessen that awkwardness and that uncomfortableness. Families are very tight-knit, they're very intimate, and they're very close.
yes.
Okay, and we're trying to figure out, okay, and there's some other things I'm going to show you here in a little bit too, that I want to see if you have, your ideas on it.
Okay.
So my question is, could something have gone totally awry that you may have no knowledge of? Could something have happened between Hannah and Jake? They could
Not
have
that
gone.
I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't there 24/7
I
in
understand
their
that.
conversations, but Jake was not, as I said, even though Jake still loves her, he probably still loves her because of Sophie. And they went through a whole lot together,
Mhm.
but not to the point of that.
Okay. Not to the point of murder.
No.
Because let me tell you something that I think.
And he had nothing against Dana, or little Chris, or Frankie,
Right.
or Chris.
This is my feeling, not about your sons, but about the Rhodens.
Mhm.
Okay? They have a complicated history. And when I say tragedy, I mean there's been some sexual charges years ago by the grandfather, you know, and there's a daughter that doesn't even come back anymore, not Chris Jr., but Chris's sister.
Yeah, I know,
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. And we talked to her, and she laid, and I believe her 110%. You know, and they all got dragged in, you know, and that divides, something like that takes a family and does this. And it did to their family.
Right.
Okay? Now, the Rhodens basically were in all kinds of shit. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. They were growing marijuana, okay? They were selling marijuana, they were selling cocaine, okay? Hannah was kind of promiscuous. You know, you can claim she's a teenager and sowing her oats, but she's promiscuous. She gets pregnant again, and then she's got another boyfriend aside from her new baby.
And we're not even sure who
You
the
know what
dad
I
is
mean?
initially.
And so,
Well, yeah.
listen, a culmination of these things, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you have grandchildren, right, that are particularly Sophie, they're like a pawn in this crap. You know what I mean? How many times you see custody issues where kids are used as pawns?
Oh,
Right?
sure.
So I'm trying to wrap my brain around some things. That's one of them that those guys found in that search warrant. Let me back up. I'm not condoning anything that was messed or broken because that's water under the bridge. I apologize for my colleagues if anything like that, because nobody deserves to have their property disrespected.
Well, that's fine.
Okay. So, again, I'm asking you I'm kind of beating around the bush with you, but I think you know where I'm going. Okay? So, I'm asking you,
Do you think that my son did it?
or
Or my husband?
anybody in your family.
No.
I'm asking you, okay, can you tell me definitively no?
Yes, I can tell you definitively no.
Tell me why.
Flat out no.
Tell me why.
Because one, my son wouldn't do that. Like I
Okay.
said, he had nothing against, he had nothing against him. And even though him and Hannah broke up, it wasn't enough for that. And it surely wasn't enough for the rest of them. Him and Frankie talked, they chit-chatted, oh my gosh, they talked about deer hunting and, you know, when they seen each other at the gas station, they would talk. I mean, it wasn't that kind of a,
All right, it wasn't a.
breakup,
It wasn't
talking to the whole family.
It wasn't a domestic,
No,
beat each
it
other up.
wasn't, no,
Right.
it wasn't. And as far as my husband goes, you can't even say a bad word about Chris
All right. In front of him, he would defend
at
him.
all. No, you couldn't.
Okay.
His dog he has came from Chris, and if you even say a bad word about that dog, you live in hell for weeks.
Okay.
I mean, that's ignition of it, so no.
That's fair, and you're telling me how you feel. What about, let me ask you this, going back to, the guys that did the search warrants at your, the Flying W at the, is it Peterson address, right?
The house.
Yeah, the house.
Your old house.
Right, well, I know where the Flying W is, I've seen it, you know, actually, I had an officer involved shooting, in Pike County long before all this stuff
Okay.
happened.
Okay.
And I remember it actually, because I love horses, and I remember driving by that one day,
Okay.
you know, but I'm asking you, the guys talked about, and the people that were on the search warrant talked about, all the boots that Billy owns and stuff that was left there at the Flying W. I mean, they were all like, a lot of like nice stuff, you know?
Okay.
So when you shopped, would you buy paint?
No, I don't,
Shoes?
no,
okay.
You want to see receipts for that stuff?
No, I'm not saying anything stolen.
No, nothing like that.
No, I'm saying, you want to know where to go?
No, I'm asking you, would you buy like their clothes on their back?
No, I don't buy my husband's, no.
How about Jake or George's? I'm not talking when they were 10 and 12.
Okay, if I'm at Walmart and I see Jake wears a particular pair of pants,
Okay.
if I see some, I'll buy them for him. The last bunch he got, his grandmother bought for him.
And how long ago was that?
Well, let's see, it was, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, because she gave me money to go to Walmart to buy the kids a bunch of stuff, and I spent like $500 there buying stuff like socks and stuff was $1 a pack, you know, so, because it's having winter clearance. And then at the same time, she felt bad, because, you know, she's got this thing where if she buys for one, she has to buy for everybody. So it didn't way. So she bought my husband a whole bunch of stuff, and then she ordered George a bunch of pairs of jeans, and then.
But when so I'm talking about what you do though. So when you'll buy stuff for them.
Yes.
Will you buy shirts and pants and you know their sizes, right? And
Yeah.
stuff like that. Would you buy socks, shoes, and all that stuff?
No, I don't buy shoes,
Never buy shoes?
no,
Okay.
because,
Sneakers?
no.
Okay.
Because I don't buy shoes for them because of the fact that they're,
Particular.
I know what size they wear, but sometimes things fit differently.
Okay. So you'll buy underwear, socks, but you won't buy the stuff they're particular about,
No.
right? Like, I don't like, my wife buying certain things for me, but if she wants to buy socks, I really don't care. But I'm gonna ask you, this is another thing I want to discuss with you, and I want your candid response and your opinion on it, okay? Another issue we have, I want the print, not that, no.
Sorry, there's lots of stuff in here.
I know there's.
I don't know how
take
this stuff
time.
is.
That's fine, yeah. See these right here? Now, these right here are a crime scene. I don't want to show you, these aren't too bad, but I'm not going to show you some pictures. But these are foot impressions made in blood, okay, by the killers. We know they're not the police, we know they're not the fire department of the medics, and we know that they're not Chris or any of those, okay? And that's, so what we have at the crime lab, being that we're the state of Ohio, and I think we have the best crime lab in the country, is they have a database like we do fingerprints, okay? And what we can do is we can take any shoe tread in the world, manufacturer, and identify the manufacturer and the size, okay? So, like 3 weeks before the murder,
I'll just give you everything so you can.
yeah, sure. I hate asking you something like that.
No, that's all right. I just haven't really had a chance to look through all these yet.
Do those ring a bell to you?
I don't know.
You don't ever remember buying those for any reason? Or remember seeing those? Does it look familiar to you in any way?
I know,
No?
I mean, I've seen Billy's dad have some of those.
Really?
Yeah. They kind of look like old man type
I think
shoes.
they look like, they almost remind me of those shoes that you wear like as a boot to a, okay. Now, during our search, when I say our, I represent BCI, okay, we have a receipt for those shoes purchased by you.
Okay, well, I did purchase them.
Mhm. Is that your excursion?
Yep.
The one you used to own? Okay. purchased
7th of April,
7th of April,
2016.
which is, you know, maybe a little, right around 2 weeks before the murders. Do you know who those shoes were for, Angela? You bought 2 pairs of them.
I don't know. Are you telling me those are the shoes that was used in the murder?
Yep.
I don't.
Somebody wearing those shoes stepped in the blood of either Chris or Gary or whomever and left the shoe impression, the tread impression. We matched it with our lab database. So we know it came from those particular shoes that you bought less than 2.5 weeks prior to the murders.
I do not think that they could be those.
They are.
They're
Our lab matched them.
They're an identical match.
Identical size to what the shoe tread was at the crime scene to the size shoe that you bought at Walmart.
We're just trying to figure it out.
Oh, no, that's fine, that's fine. I mean, I got them, but I don't, they are an old man's shoe, so they wouldn't wear them. But they wouldn't have used them on those because I threw them away.
But what away?
So you remember buying them?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but because I remember they wanted some shoes,
You threw them away?
but they're, you know, an old man's shoe, and they wouldn't wear them, but I don't know how they could be the exact ones.
Why would you buy them if you don't think they would wear them?
No, I said they wouldn't afterwards.
Okay.
After what?
They saw
After they saw them?
them, you know, old man's
So
shoes.
you did look at them and say, you know, wait a minute.
Papa wears those.
So you do remember buying them and you do remember throwing them away?
Yeah,
So when did you throw them away, like the day you brought them home?
well, let's see, I don't know the exact day that I threw them away. And that I don't know.
Okay.
Angela,
Do you understand why this is, we have to ask you out?
you
Well, I
understand why this is
understand
important?
that, yeah, of course I understand that.
So look where we're at now, and I got a couple other things I want to go over with you and get your opinion on. Okay, right now we have that printed out life, or not life insurance, but the printed out custody, if in the event of Hannah's death, that was printed out 3 weeks before her death, that was signed back in December 2014, okay? We have, 2 weeks before the homicide, you purchased 2 pairs of shoes, which identically match bloody footprints in the crime scene, okay? Now, when you put a fingerprint somewhere, if like I've been to Jenny's house, her and her husband, okay? And if they found my fingerprints on your coffee table, okay, that would be explainable. Yeah, Rick's been here before. You know what I mean? If there's a bloody print and she's dead, there's no getting around that. Okay? So we're just trying to explain this, okay? Okay, so you know they did a search warrant on the house that you sold. You know that, right? This is a photograph of a lab analysis of casings that were recovered from your driveway. Okay? We have ballistics experts. Okay, lab report.
I'll look up for it.
Yep.
That's a lab report from the shoe confirming the match to the tread. This is the database they pulled up with the shoe tread to verify the match. And then here's a lab report from the casings that we found in your driveway.
Okay, this is a lab report from the casings in your driveway. They're an identical match.
The casings.
The casings of a gun, when you fire, you fire guns. When you fire a gun, it ejects a casing on the gun.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
There were casings recovered from several of the crime scenes. Okay?
Okay.
of various calibers,
Yeah,
okay? These identically match. They both came from the shell casings in your driveway, okay? The
I'm
22
listening to you,
The 22
yeah.
shell casings were fired from the same gun that killed.
there's no way.
Angela, it's an identical match. We have all
There's
that.
no way that they were, there's no way.
Angela, there's the report.
Okay, I'm telling you, there is no way.
We had everyone in our ballistics lab, every expert, every firearm experts review and confirm. It is an identical match.
Here, let me, you want me to?
As long as I hold it out here.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you want
I'm just gonna-
your process?
Yes, please. Because there is no way, what did they even use? They didn't even say what they used.
Oh, we know what they.
We know that we walked with the autopsy.
And of course you do. You're telling me it's a 22?
One of them.
But there's I told you, we own 22s.
Right, we know that.
There are several different ones.
I
I
know.
understand that.
This is a specific type of 22 round, a specific type of 22 caliber gun that was used to kill some of the
Angela.
victims. You can read
Okay,
the bottom.
carried on, sorry, I thought you were done. Angela, casings are a definitive match on a blueprint.
And I understand what you're saying on that, I do.
It's a blueprint. When I fire my weapon, my issued gun, and it ejects a round, okay?
Yes.
And then I use it somewhere else, that's an identical match. There's no maybe, possibly, could be the same gun, or yeah, it was, just because there were 22 casings in your driveway, and there were 22 casings at the crime scene, doesn't mean, oh, okay, then we have 22 rounds here, we have 22 rounds there.
You do know we're not the only ones that shot guns at our house, right?
Who
There's
shoots guns?
several people down, over the time span we've been there, there's been several people down there.
Such as?
Such as, let's see, let me guess. There's been, Frankie's been down there. Oh my God, there's been several other people. The people that hunt on us have been down there. There's just been, I don't know, there's been several
Okay,
people.
Angela, I understand what you're saying, okay? Look through my eyes,
I'm looking through your eyes, okay?
okay?
I see what you're saying.
You're far, far from stupid.
No, I'm not
Okay.
stupid, but I don't see how there could be a match down there.
There is a match
To multiple
to multiple,
22 casings we found on your property.
okay? I'm not making this stuff up.
That's just one lab report. There's still other ones pending. But they've been confirmed.
We have other tests that are waiting, that we have not got back yet based on the search warrants, on other things that we're waiting for, okay? Let me just outline this here, and I'm asking you, that's why I'm asking you, could this have been done without, number one, your knowledge, okay? And if you did know about it, did you know about it after the fact?
No, I did not know about it.
Okay, this is why I'm trying to salvage some semblance of your grandchildren. Okay, I don't want to leave them with nobody, or for them to go back to some Rhoden. That's the last thing I want to do.
An April Manley or
Yeah,
something
or a
like that.
Manly. I don't want that, trust me. But I want the truth from you, okay? Did something happen, and then you're like, what the fuck?
No, I'm not that
No.
I'm aware of, nothing
Okay,
happened like that.
but you say you told me 10 minutes ago, you're definitively sure.
I
that
am
you're
not.
definitive.
Yes, I
There's too much mounting.
Definitive after all this.
Even after all that, we have casings that we used at the crime. We have the same gun that was used at the crime scene that was shot at your house. We have shoes.
Do you have the gun?
No. We have shoes that were used, okay, that you purchased 2 weeks before the
Yes,
murder.
I purchased them, but I am telling you, they didn't like them. They wouldn't wear them. You know, they wanted a pair of shoes. They always wear boots. Whoop-de-doo, I bought them, and they didn't like them. I don't know about that.
Okay.
But that right there, the guns we
Who's in
have.
the car? Did you go with the kids? You look alone in that picture. when you went to Walmart to buy that stuff back in April of 2016, okay? You're alone. You're alone.
But I don't know that you're alone getting back in the car.
You're not.
No, I was not alone.
Who are you with?
Yeah, who are you with?
Who was I with that day? I know the kids were sleeping,
Where?
I think. Well, they would have been in the car. I didn't leave with David, but I think we were all in the car. I can't remember that one.
I guess the bottom line is, we have all this. You can understand how this appears.
Yes, I see that you have.
And this is if you're gonna have any chance to talk with us about what happened, what knowledge you have, it's now.
Yes.
Well, listen,
It's now.
I want to make something perfectly clear with you, Angela. I'm not against you at all, okay? I am more concerned about them than I am anybody. When I mean them, I mean those grandchildren, okay? So I need to know what you know. And I honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, Angela, I'm going to be completely frank with you. You and I have had a good rapport this entire, I don't know what your rapport was like with the other folks. You and I have a decent rapport, so I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't lied to you yet, okay? But I don't believe everything you're telling me when we're getting down to this. I believe everything before that, okay? But I don't believe this.
If we,
Okay, we need to know the truth.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
telling you, I do not know
You're not-
anything that happened between Jake and Hannah. I don't know of any arguments they got into. I don't know of any fights.
Angela,
As far as my husband goes, as far as I do not think there was any at all.
Angela, when we talked to you about the shoes, you told us you never bought shoes for them.
No, I don't
And then-
know
and
that.
then you-
But
and
then
then-
I, but then you remember things.
And
I
then
don't.
I get that, and then we show you these obscure shoes that were bought, and you said, when I brought them home, they didn't like them, so I tossed it out. They're in the car waiting for you, we could tell. On the
Okay,
actual video, you can tell,
okay.
okay? So you bring them out there, and did they tell you there that they didn't like them? I mean, you arbitrarily bought some shoes that, quite frankly, I think are the ugliest shoes in the world, okay? And you think they're gonna like them? And then you remember throwing them away.
Okay, look, let me tell you something. When I get in the car, it's not like a normal get in the car. Oh, hey, look, it's not. It's always.
Let's just throw your bags.
Most of the time. If things are hectic, it doesn't always work the way it's supposed to work.
Angela, you're not being 100%.
I told you,
I can tell by the way you're talking.
Okay,
Well,
I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop.
well, I don't want to make you mad.
No, I'm just gonna stop right here and I can get an attorney. That's what I'm gonna do. Because no, I'm just not gonna say no more.
Angela, I don't want to make you mad. Okay.
You're not making me mad, but
Am I being disrespectful to you? Just answer it right away.
I don't think that you are.
Okay, well, I appreciate that.
But, and I know what you're thinking, and I know what you're getting at, and I'm just gonna talk to an attorney, so an attorney talk to you.
Okay.
That's
Well,
what I'm gonna do, because
I can't go on.
that's your right.
That is your right.
I just don't want you to miss an opportunity because you might not get this opportunity again to talk to us.
I understand that.
Okay. And I don't know what's gonna happen with the lab results, and I don't know if, things are gonna happen and arrests are gonna be made, and I don't know what's gonna happen to kids from that point.
Yeah, that's why we're
So-
here. That's why we're talking to you.
Once people are in jail, then the kids go into foster care. They go into someone else's care. And they go out. We're willing to give you the opportunity, that's all.
Hang tight.
We have to talk to Border Patrol, we're not the ones that are here. Yep.
I don't know if they're still up to maintaining
Can we try to find you some water?
Yeah, you want some water, Angela?
Yes, please.
We'll figure that out.
I guess after sitting here with you, we don't talk about it, but Border Patrol, that's their policy. Once they're done with their stuff, you know, you're free to go, but they don't want you left by yourself. We didn't come to set you. We're just doing our job. score you, okay?
Turn them open.